Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. Breaking news in the college basketball recruiting world. The sky is blue. I've eaten half of the Halloween candy I was supposed to give out to trick-or-treaters before Halloween even started. And Cooper Flagg, the number one player in high school basketball, the number one prospect in the class of 2024, and maybe the best player that we've seen come from the high school ranks into college basketball since Zion Williamson himself has committed to play his college basketball for Duke and Jon Scheyer. Cooper Flagg made the announcement on Monday morning, picking Duke over UConn, who got him on campus for an official visit. Seemed like they might have had a puncher's chance at landing a commitment, but after Cooper made his second visit to Duke, attended for countdown to craziness, it became very clear and very obvious to everybody in the industry that he will be committing to the Blue Devils, and he followed through with that on Monday morning. Flagg is, he's such a special prospect. We're going to get into that. I have some clips that I'm going to load into this video from previous shows that we've done breaking him down. I talked about him with Terrence Oglesby and John Fanta. I talked to him a little bit on the Top Dogs podcast that I do covering UConn. We talked about him on the Field of 68 After Dark for a while as well, but he is really, really special. I think that he is unique in the sense that he has the ability to be a rim protector while having the skill set to be a perimeter player at the NBA level. He was unbelievably productive at everywhere that he's been in the high school ranks, whether it was playing on the U17 national team as a 15-year-old, whether it was playing in the U16 Peach Jam, where he averaged something ridiculous like 26 points, 13 rebounds, 6 and 7 blocks. Whether it was playing for Montverde Academy. He is just one of these guys that is going to find a way to produce. I do have some questions about how it will translate. It's less concerns, I would say, and more just I want to see how he kind of figures it out. He is a ball dominant guy. That's a hard word for me to say, apparently, before I had my coffee this morning. A ball dominant guy that is not necessarily the best ball handler in the world and not necessarily the best ISO guy in the world, but he's not the greatest shooter ever, but I also do think that those are the kind of things that he can kind of figure out. Remember, he is going to be 17 when he enrolls in college. He doesn't turn 18 until December of what is now going to be his freshman season. And it's just another ridiculous recruiting class for Jon Scheyer as the head coach of Duke. He had the number one class in the country his first year on the recruiting circuit. He had the number 2 class in the country this past season. And with 3 top 50 prospects already committed, Cooper Flagg joining that group and potentially adding 2 more in VJ Edgecombe and Pat Ngamba, I don't think that it's going to be all that surprising to see him end up with the number 1 recruiting class in the country again this season. So very impressive stuff from Jon Scheyer, very impressive stuff from Duke. I don't think anybody should necessarily be surprised at this announcement, but it's going to be interesting to see how he translates. One thing I do want to mention, and I do want to bring up that I do think is worth discussing here, is that in a day and age where the impact of freshmen has been a little bit diluted in the college basketball realm because of the fact that you have 5th and 6th year COVID year guys, 23 and 24-year-olds playing at every level. That's a big age gap for a freshman to make up. And Cooper Flagg is enrolling at Duke as a 17-year-old. We saw this a little bit with G.G. Jackson last season, right? He was the youngest player in Division I college basketball, and the impact that he had at South Carolina was less significant than I think a lot of people necessarily expected it to be. Now, Cooper Flagg is much better than G.J. Jackson. With all due respect to G.G., Cooper Flagg is a different level of talent. But he's still going to be a 17-year-old stepping into a league that has a lot of guys that are 5 years and 6 years older than him. So I hope that people can kind of keep that context in mind when they watch him. Just because he's not out there putting up numbers that match what Zion puts up, it doesn't mean that he's not somebody that is worth paying attention to. It doesn't mean he's not somebody that's worth the hype. It doesn't mean that he's not living up to that ability. So keep in mind that his age is something that will play a factor in as well. And if he does happen to average like 22, 9, 3 blocks, 2 steals, and shoot 40% from 3, well, then you know what? I think we found the next great NBA superstar heading forward. So there you have it. Cooper Flagg, commits to Duke. We're going to drop in here a couple of breakdowns that we've done of his game, of some concerns about him, and what makes him so special as a prospect right now. I want to ask you about Cooper Flagg. He took his visit to UConn this weekend. He's got a visit coming up to Duke. He's got a visit coming up to Kansas. We all saw him have historically good games at Peach Jam over the summer. I think the expectation is most people think he's going to go play for his big brother, Jon Scheyer, at Duke. I think that is probably where this thing is trending towards. I think that UConn and Kansas have as much of a puncher's chance as I do at getting on the roster at an ACC program at this point. But how, Tio, I want to start with you on this. How good is he? Because I go back and forth on the impact that he can have offensively in the role that he played. Like I struggle going between, okay, I don't see how this translates because we never really seen a dude that does this stuff before. And like, does that matter? Because guys that do stuff we've never seen before tend to be the best players because no one else can match it. You know what I'm saying? Like
the ladder.
You think it's the ladder?
The ladder. He covers so much ground so quickly. Like it's unbelievable, really. And he does it with the ball in his hands, and he does it on the help side. Dude blocks everything. That's kind of the crazy part about it, is like he just covers so much ground on both ends of the floor, and he can space the floor because he's a quality shooter and he's a terrific passer. And it was crazy. He played with his Maine United team, and there are some good players on that team, but let's not kid ourselves into thinking like it was the same as the Knight Riders where they'd have 6 high major plus players. Like he had a bunch of pretty good players, pretty good high school players on his team, and they were beating the snot out of teams just because he manipulates everything on the court. He's special. He's Andre Kirilenko defensively, and offensively. I don't know where to put him. Like, that's the crazy part about the whole thing. I do wish he would have played 17s. Because I think his ability to change pace was just so special compared to that 16. I feel like I would have been much more intrigued to see him play against some of those top dogs at the 17U level.
Who he is defensively is fantastic. And perhaps that's also why you play against the 17s. I wish you would have, because we could have seen him at that level against those players, but it wouldn't.
The problem is they would have lost every game by 40. Like, he wasn't going to leave the program that he was with. Like, the reason why Maine United had a deal with Nike is it's not like the Knight Riders where there's like 14s, 15s, 16s, 17s, right? Like, there's Cooper Flagg's team. And like you said, T.O., they have a bunch of like good 16U players.
Yeah. And guys that have been offered by A10 programs and like,
right.
Yeah, like they're good players.
Bad.
Yeah,
his brother Ace ain't bad. I mean, there's no question. His brother Ace is quality.
Yeah, like his brother is probably like an A10 level player, and the rest of the guys on that roster are probably like America East. Like, they're really good basketball players, but
when you're at
17,
Jam, like
you're playing up in 17
Power 5 guys there.
They're gonna get fucking rolled, and so I get why he did it. He didn't want to, like, he did it for his teammates, right? Like, I get it.
So we can judge off what we saw and what we've seen. And what we could say is, or what I think we could say, jump in if you disagree, incredible defensively. The amount of ground he covers as a rim protector is insane. That impresses me more than anything.
And the ability to do it from the wing position too.
From the wing position.
Yeah.
But how about the want to, Terrence? His team's up by 30 and he just goes. Unlimited motor, comes off as a relentless competitor. And on the offensive side, I know there's concerns about the perimeter shot. I think that there's areas for that to just keep growing. He showed he could make threes. He made some. And we saw him make them. You know, it does it need some work? Yeah. What kid his age doesn't need some work on that? He could drive the ball relentlessly. He's got feel. When he takes the ball off the dribble into the lane, Cooper Flagg doesn't just, I'm going to go pull in a China shop and just buy you. No, he understands the nature of the game. He understands how to make plays for his teammates. He understands how to make everybody around him better. And even though somebody's matched up against him on the other side, or 2 players were at his level that he was playing at, he made all 5 players on the other team afraid of what he was capable of. Mm-hmm. That guy, I want that guy on my team. anybody that's criticizing, you're only criticizing because you're just choosing to be a hater. If you want to question him being unbelievable, that the hype train that he's got is a little bit more than what he'll end up being, I'm not going to sit here and deny that. But I think he is an absolutely outstanding prospect.
Yeah, I totally agree. My point was more that I wonder, and defensively, like there's no issues. I see that translating very, very well at every level he goes up to. Big news. The Almanac is officially back. The most exhaustive and comprehensive guide to the 2023-24 college basketball season is available for pre-order now. If you go to cbbalmanac.com, link is in the description below, you can pre-order for just $15.99 or 20% off the sticker price. The format is going to be a little bit different this season. Instead of an 850-page PDF, you'll be getting access to the full site with league-by-league PDFs available for download. The preview will be live on September 20th. So you have until then to be able to get your pre-orders in. So for insight for all 362 Division I teams from their head coaches and the experts that cover them, make sure you hit that link. My concern is more like offensively, will the stuff that he wants to do, like pound the ball into the floor, try to isolate people, like he doesn't have a great handle. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a great shot. He kind of gets by because he's so much better than everybody else. He draws like 5 defenders, and maybe that's what will happen as he moves up levels as well. And maybe he'll just improve on the ball handling side of it. I wonder how that translates. And it could also be a thing where like,
where did you get the not a good ball handler thing? Just out of curiosity, is it because he dribbles so high?
Yeah, and he's not like what you're going to do against him defensively is you're going to put like someone that's like 6'6" and tough and physical and to let them climb underneath him, and he doesn't have the kind of handle to be able to go around people like that yet. And now he could get there. Like
I disagree.
I'm not saying that he won't, but
I love you, Rob. I disagree.
All right. Well, I mean,
his strides are so long.
Here's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know if what I'm saying is true, but it's something where
it's not.
We haven't seen him. We haven't seen a guy like him. So I guess my biggest thing is
he just covers so much ground, and like all the coach say that is a concern, and say it is, and it's not one of mine, but it is for you. So we'll just talk about it. But like his ability to cover so much ground in 2 dribbles is equally unique.
Incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So what I come down to is like,
sure.
Yeah, and so what I basically come down to is like, okay, so I have these questions about what the fit will be as he moves up levels. Can he still play the same way? Well, we had a lot of those same questions about like, will that work for Zion? Right. And it's just we've never seen somebody like what Cooper Flagg can do. So maybe it's just he is that awesome and it's going to continue to translate that way. And I think at the end of the day, yeah, like when your worst case scenario as a player, let's say that like everything offensively just doesn't work as he gets better. If your worst case scenario is Andre Kirilenko as a player defensively, like you're an unbelievable prospect.
Yes.
Right? Unbelievable prospect.
When everybody zigs, there's going to be a sector of people who want to zag. So before this kid plays a college game, there's going to be people saying he ain't going to live up to the hype. You know why? They want traffic and they know what drives, right? The point is, I'm going to say this. This is beautiful for college basketball. Regardless of where he goes, and Duke is the front runner and could very well be the choice. We'll let the kid make his decision. The Donovan
really cool main photo with him and Donovan Clingan though.
Well,
the people that don't know the backstory there is Donovan Clingan's mom passed away. It was cancer, right, Fana?
Cancer, yeah.
Died from cancer about 3 years ago now, and he was really, really close to his mom, and he didn't handle it great, as any high school kid that loses their mother would. And his mom was teammates with Cooper Flagg's mom at the University of Maine. I think they're both in Maine's Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, and he got a picture with Cooper Flagg on his recruiting visit to UConn wearing their mom's jerseys, which is something that I don't know if I know it meant a lot to Donovan Clingan, and I'm sure it meant something pretty special to Cooper Flagg. It would have
been cooler if they actually played at Maine.
Yeah, hey, look, you know what? Leave my boy DC there. All right, he stayed home. All right, Cooper Flagg can stay home. Go to Maine. DC stayed home. We need Kling Kong in Connecticut, baby.
And I can't wait to see what he does this upcoming year. But I'll tell you what, this is This is really, we got great. I know that people had their complaints at Peach Jam about the 17s and whatnot. But you know what? By the end of Peach Jam, we were sitting there saying, man, having Cooper Flagg, having the Boozers, having AJ DeBansa. I mean, AJ DeBansa is
all right. Make your pick right now. Best player versus best prospect for AJ DeBansa, Cameron Boozer, and Cooper Flagg. I'm going to you first, Fanta.
Oh man.
You want me to go first?
I called 22 Peach Jam games, so I saw all three a lot. I'm going to Bansa. I just love his all-around skill set. I just love him. I love his game. I love his maturity. I think for a kid his age to talk the way he did, I was so impressed. But guys, just the total toolbox. Explosiveness, athleticism, versatility, can guard, can drive, rises above the rim at his age, can shot make. I love AJ DeBansa.
I would go DeBansa 1, Flagg 2, Boozer 3.
That's me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the reason being is Cooper Flagg's an incredible athlete and rangy and moves. Shot creation, man. Long-term potential and shot creation. AJ DeBansa is special. And this is going to – I haven't seen many players in my generation and forward move like him. At 6'8", at $195. There's only been one that I've seen really move like a cat. There's only been one. And I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it. I won't say it. I won't say it because I'll catch all kinds of hell. But he moves and changes. He doesn't just change direction, guys. He changes direction with power.
Yes.
And like a lot of times with like a kid Euro stepping or something, you think like if he Euro steps and he's able to change direction a little bit, like you're like, man, that kid's got a strong lower body. DeBansa changes direction with absolute force. And like, there's not many people that are capable of doing that.
He can do all that stuff.
He moves like Michael. He moves like Michael Jordan. He moves like Michael Jordan.
He can do all that stuff. And he's 6'8". And by the way, like he's also one of the best shot makers in his class. Like he can create space. He's got the step backs. He's not just a guy that can make shots. Like he is a really good shooter. He's special. I think if you have to give me one, I'm taking AJ DeBansa. I think Cooper Flagg has the highest upside if it all comes together for him. I also think Cooper Flagg has the lowest floor if the offensive stuff doesn't come around. And I think Cameron Boozer is like the safest bet. I think you just kind of like, what Cameron Boozer is going to end up being. We've seen like the transition that a guy like Paolo has had going to the NBA and how well.
Oh, no. He's not Paolo.
But no, I'm not saying he's Paolo, but I'm saying like we've seen what he does in that role and how that works at the NBA level. I just think Cameron Boozer, you can kind of
best comparison is. Who? Who Cam Boozer? It's Carlos. That's his best comparison. Carlos made what 2, 3, 4 All-Star games?
Yeah, yes, but he could also shoot. Like all I'm saying with Cam Boozer is like you could just kind of slot him into being a guy that averages 18 and 9 in the NBA and shoots 34% from 3, and you just kind of like know what he's going to.
Gross. That felt gross when you said that. That felt gross.
Too much, too high.
It felt too high.
Listen, those three are. We could talk about them until the sun comes up. I will say this:
we're about to.
Caden is
podcast forever.
Boozer is better than people are saying.
He is very good.
Yep.
Very good player.
All right. So we picked Cooper Flagg versus Cameron Boozer. What about Ace Flagg versus Caden Boozer?
Oh God.
Caden's a good player.
Give me Caden too.
Caden's a good 4-year guard. Caden's a really, really good 4-year guard.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.